Hello and welcome to Nurture Academy. Today we are going to learn about mechanical properties of fluids. So, fluid means anything which flows. It can be liquid, it can be gas. So all fluids, they exert some kind of pressure. Pressure can be calculated as height into density into acceleration due to gravity. If it is a liquid, now as you can see, liquid also have air above it. So the total pressure exerted by liquid would be equal to pressure exerted by atmosphere plus h rho g. Okay. Second we have learnt is Pascal's law. Pascal law says that if any fluid is confined in any area, then pressure exerted at one end will be equal to pressure exerted at another end. Now pressure is equal to force divided by area. So that means F1 by A1 equal to F2 by A2. That means that using this formula we can have mechanical advantage. So this phenomena is used in hydraulic lift. Third we have learnt in fluids in rest is Archimedes principle, which is based upon whether a body will sink in a fluid or it will float. So the weight of the body is balanced by the upward force provided by the fluid. If the upward force is more than the weight of the body, in that case the body will float, or even equal to, then the body will just float. But if the upper thrust is less than the weight of the body, in that case the body will sink in that particular fluid. Now all fluids will show the property of viscosity. Viscosity is somewhat equal to resistance, but there is a difference between viscosity and resistance. Resistance is there, or friction is there, even when the body is at rest, still the friction is there. But viscosity will come into picture only when the liquid is flowing or any fluid is flowing. Viscosity means the drag which one layer will resist the another layer for movement. As you can see through this pipe, this layer is near to this surface, so it will be slow layer. As you go towards the center, it will be fast. That is why when we take the value of velocity gradient dv by dx, then we take perpendicular direction. Velocity is in this direction, the x distance is taken in this direction. You can calculate one numerical based upon this formula also. In this numerical, area is given, the value of gradient is given dx, viscous force value is given, velocity is given. We have to calculate the coefficient of viscosity for that given fluid. So we'll fill the value in this formula and we can comfortably rearrange and calculate the value of coefficient of viscosity eta. In the second part of this unit, we will see when any fluid flow, either it can show streamline flow, means all the layers are smoothly flowing parallel to each other, or it can show turbulent flow. Whether the flow will be streamline or turbulent will depend upon one number which is known as Reynolds number. If for any given fluid the value of Reynolds number comes less than 1000, then the flow will be streamline. But if it comes more than 2000, then the flow will be turbulent. Okay, we can see one numerical so that we know what kind of flow one fluid will have. Let's see this numerical. This is a real life numerical in which one tap is opened. The tap has a diameter of 1.25 centimeter. The water is flowing through this at a rate of 3 liter per minute. Coefficient of viscosity of water is given. Coefficient of viscosity means eta is given. We have to tell whether the given flow is turbulent or streamline. Obviously we will have to calculate the value of Reynolds number, because the value of Reynolds number will tell me whether the given flow is turbulent or streamline. Formula used is velocity of flow into density of liquid. Density of liquid you should always know. Density of water in SI units is 1000 kilogram per meter cube. diameter of the tube is given to you, eta is given to you. Okay, but what we should not fill the value directly 3 liter per minute, because the diameter of the tap is given. Okay, so first we have to calculate total velocity of the liquid, because some volume of the liquid will be flowing. So here we will use a formula: volume of liquid flowing per unit time should be equal to velocity of the liquid multiplied by area of the tap. Okay, from using this formula we will actually calculate what is the velocity of the fluid. Okay, this will give you the value of velocity. This is volume per unit time, 3 liter per minute. Okay, so after rearranging we got the value of velocity. Other things we already know: rho is 1000, diameter you convert to meter, and eta also you are given in SI units, and you can calculate the value of NR. Depending upon what is the value of Reynolds number, we can figure out whether it is streamline flow or it is turbulent flow. Next property which we are learned is terminal velocity. Terminal velocity is the maximum velocity which a body acquire when it passes through any viscous medium. It is somewhat similar, looking like to Archimedes principle, where weight of the body is balanced by upper thrust. But in this case we also have to consider the viscous force given by the fluid. Okay, so we can use the equation U plus F equal to W. Using this, solving it, we will find the value of terminal velocity, which is the maximum velocity. It is equal to 2 by 9 r square, density of the body minus density of the fluid through which the body is flowing, into acceleration due to gravity divided by eta of that given body. Okay, we can see one numerical based upon terminal velocity also. Let's say we are given this numerical, that 8 small raindrops, they merge into each other and make one very big raindrop. Okay, the terminal velocity of small raindrops was given to us. We have to calculate the terminal velocity of the bigger drop. First thing we will realize is that we will write the formula of terminal velocity. Okay, now what I do not know is, we do not know the value of rho of body, rho of material through which it is going. We don't know the value of eta, we don't know the value of acceleration due to gravity. So, but we are given the value of terminal velocity of the small droplets, raindrops. Now what we can figure out in this question is that the density of the medium and density of the body is not changing. Even eta of the body is not changing, and acceleration due to gravity also remains constant. So you fill the value in this given formula. V naught for small droplet given 0.05, radius is also given. Fill this value here. Calculate the value of this factor, this constant factor. Okay, keep it safe. Now we have to calculate the terminal velocity of the bigger raindrop. Formula will be same, 2 by 9, but radius of the big raindrop and then this constant. Okay, now how do I find the radius of the bigger drop? So all we know is that when these 8 drops will combine together, they will form one big raindrop. Volume of this, because they are filled with water, right? Volume of this should be equal to volume of this. So 8 times the volume of small drop, which are spherical, 4 by 3 pi r cube, should be equal to the volume of water in the bigger drop, that is 4 by 3 pi r, where capital R is the radius of bigger drop. So from using this we can find the radius of the bigger drop. Once we found the radius of the bigger drop, we'll fill the value here. This full constant we have already calculated. You fill it here and we can calculate the terminal velocity of the bigger raindrop. Okay, you can also come across questions where one big raindrop will split into small raindrop. Again, you keep this constant same, and then in that case you will use opposite way formula. In that way you will be given the radius of bigger raindrop and you would have to calculate the radius of small raindrop first, then fill the value to calculate the terminal velocity. Next type of numericals we will come across in this chapter would be based upon Bernoulli's theorem. Bernoulli's theorem says that sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy should be constant when a liquid flows. Okay. Now this sum of pressure energy and kinetic energy and potential energy you can calculate per unit mass, like I have written right now, per unit mass, or you can calculate per unit volume. So that is based upon problem to problem. You have to figure out whether you have to calculate per unit mass or per unit volume. Let us solve this particular question. In this question, a liquid is flowing through a tube where at one end the diameter is 60 centimeter and at another end the diameter is 20 centimeter. Notice that there is no height difference in this tube. The height remains same. So that means potential energy does not change. Okay. First we will calculate the ratio of velocities v1 and v2 using equation of continuity a1 v1 equal to a2 v2. Okay. So once I find the relation between v1 and v2, now I can use Bernoulli's theorem, which says that sum of pressure energy plus kinetic energy equal to it remain constant, and in this case I have already told you there is no change in potential energy, so I will not use that. One more thing to notice is that when you read this question, this given pressure difference is 20 centimeter. So notice the unit of pressure. Pressure cannot be in the unit of length. That means what actually you are given is height of that liquid. Okay, in this case it is filled with water, so you will use a formula to calculate pressure, P equal to H rho G. Height in meters, since it was given 100 centimeter pressure difference, so height will be 1 meter into density of water in SI unit 1000 kilogram per meter cube into acceleration due to gravity 9.8. So P, delta P actually, change in pressure, this pressure difference which they have given 100 centimeter will actually be 9800 Pascal. This is what you always have to pay attention. Unit of pressure should not be in meter or centimeter, it should be in Pascal while solving the numerical problem. Okay, so this is all. In the next module we will learn numerical problems of surface tension. Thank you. Please like, subscribe our channel.